Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by our chief guest, the Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. Please give her a warm welcome. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed dignitaries. It is indeed with immense pleasure and profound honor that we extend a really warm, heartfelt welcome to each of you to the grand inauguration of BITSoM, a management school for an aspirational India. Today marks a pivotal moment in our journey towards fostering excellence in leadership, excellence in innovation. And as is tradition, we begin with the lamp lighting ceremony. Together, honestly, let us illuminate the path towards enlightenment, towards knowledge, and shared prosperity. It is our privilege to invite the Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, Mr. Siddharth Birla, Mr. Dilip Gaur, and Dr. V. Ramagopal Rao to kindly do the honors. Thank you so very much to the Honorable Minister, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, Mr. Siddharth Birla, Mr. Dilip Gaur, and Dr. V. Ramagopal Rao. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege of presenting to you what I'd like to call a soul-stirring journey through the melodies and the rhythms that have echoed the corridors of time, transcending generations, importantly transcending borders. From the haunting strains of the sitar to the intricate beats of the tabla, each note resonating with the essence of what are centuries-old traditions and, of course, artistic mastery. Our esteemed time stands still, so to speak. As we gather in the esteemed company, let us immerse ourselves in the beauty and the depth of Indian classical music. Honestly, a treasure trove of tradition and innovation. Please join me in welcoming onto stage Shri Kumresh Rajgopalan on the violin, Shri Niladri Kumar on sitar and the zitar, the electric sitar, Shri Girdhar Udupa on ghatam, Shri Shikhar Nath on drums and percussion, Shri Satyajit Talwalkar on tabla, and importantly, our two Grammy Award winners, Shri Rakesh Chaurasia on the flute and Shri Ganesh Rajagopalan on the violin. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them with a round of applause.
Thank you so Thank you. Thank you so much. It means a lot for us to be performing for Madam Nirmala ji. It's an honor. Birla sir, Mr. Birla, Mrs. Birla, and all the other dignitaries here. But there are some really important dignitaries on stage, and I would like to extend our heartiest congratulations to two of them for making India proud at the Grammys. Rakesh Chaurasia, Ganesh Rajgopalan, and I'd like to quickly, if you have 2 minutes, I'd like to introduce these fabulous musicians. On djembe and drums was the grandson of the greatest legend India has known, Ustad Allah Rakha, hence the nephew of Ustad Zakir Hussain, son of Tawfiq Qureshi, Shikhar Nath Qureshi. On tabla is the son of the greatest Vidwan from Maharashtra, Pandit Suresh Talwalkar ji's torch-bearing, incredible mastery over the instrument, Satyajit Talwalkar. On, I would say, the younger brother and probably the more funnier brother of Sri Ganesh Rajgopalan ji is Kumaresh. So they have this great duo of Ganesh Kumaresh that the world knows of. On Ghatam is probably the prodigious, the most incredible Ghatam player of his generation from Bangalore, Giridhar Udupa. And last but not the least, the most well-dressed person on stage. He happens to be, I consider him like a younger brother from different mothers, also different fathers, so nothing exciting there. But he happens to be the guy behind a lot of these 100, 200 crore plus Bollywood films. Actually, 100, 200 is a very small number in this room, but still, you know. Agnello Fernandez. Thank you so very much.
And sitar genius Niladri Kumar. And on sound we have JK. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all so very much. Small family affair, brothers and sisters needn't be of the same father and mother. We extend our heartfelt gratitude for that performance. Truly, the artistry on display has enriched and elevated us. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask for a few minutes. As you can see, we are clearing stage to ready ourselves for the next part of this wonderful inaugural. So just a couple of minutes, and I will be back with you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and now, like I said, we proceed with this wonderful inaugural. I'd like to invite onto stage to be seated with us the Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Chancellor BITS Pilani, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, Mr. Dilip Gaur, Board of Governors, BITS Pilani, Professor V. Ramagopal Rao, Vice Chancellor, BITS Pilani, Professor Sarvanan, Dean, BITS School of Management, and Professor Ashish Bhardwaj, Dean, BITSLAW. To begin with, may I request Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla to felicitate the Honorable Finance Minister with a bouquet of flowers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we hear from the man whose vision, whose leadership has paved the way for excellence in education and, in fact, beyond. We eagerly anticipate his insights, his reflections on this momentous occasion as we embark on a truly wonderful journey. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Chancellor Shri Kumar Mangalam Birla to address us.
Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, distinguished guests from the Maharashtra government, members of the governing board of BITS Pilani, faculty, staff and students, friends from academia, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you at our Kalyan campus. Nirmala ji, it is indeed a moment of pride for the entire BITS community to have you join us on such a special occasion. The inauguration of our 5th campus of BITS Pilani marks a new chapter in our institution's glorious tradition. A venture that sprang from the entrepreneurial vision of my great-grandfather, Mr. G.D. Birla, has over the years morphed to become an institute of eminence, an iconic institution with 18,000 students across 4 campuses. That's not all. Beyond the campus, the impact extends to 40,000 working professionals who want to be upskilled and reskilled for career advancements every year. Over the years, BITS Pilani has not only imparted knowledge, but has instilled in generations the capacity to think critically, dream ambitiously, and strive relentlessly. More significantly, it has also gifted thousands of dynamic leaders and entrepreneurs to India and to the world. The numbers speak for themselves. BITS counts amongst its alumni over 6,300 startup founders. 13 ventures founded by BITSians are either unicorns or decacons. But beyond the numbers, it is the holistic impact created by BITS that makes us all so proud. I had a particularly close bond with my great-grandfather. When he was in Bombay, we spent every Sunday afternoon together. I was 15 when he passed away, so you can imagine how blessed I was to get so much time with him, my great-grandfather. On one such Sunday afternoon, I said to him that the establishment of BITS would keep the small Rajasthani hamlet of Pilani in the limelight forever, else it would have been long forgotten. To which he said, whilst Pilani's recognition is a positive outcome, the true aim was to create a talent factory for a rapidly industrializing India. That purpose continues to drive all of us at BITS every single day. History is witness to the unshakable truth that robust education systems thrive on the back of active contribution and leadership from the private sector. I also believe that some significant time-tested philosophical underpinnings are common between a conscious business and a conscious education system. This philosophy is based on a thirst for innovation and new ideas, a penchant for new knowledge, and a desire to address unsolved problems. And the tenacity to do all of this, with the aim to build our nation. Education is, in fact, a perennial gale of sustained social, economic, and cultural progress which binds us together and puts us firmly on the path of prosperity. If there is one claim that is empirically tested, philosophically founded, socially visible, and culturally validated, it is that good quality education creates a strong socio-economic society with informed citizens. We are an ancient civilization that has preserved knowledge systems, traditions, cultures, values, and beliefs. We are now at a precipice of blending this heritage with new age knowledge systems and modern learning environments. This is what BITS Pilani stands for. I believe that the golden age of Indian education lies ahead of us. And so our mission now is to nurture successive generations of leaders with all the disciplines they need to advance society. In an increasingly complex world, thanks in large part to rapid technological advancements, no problem stays contained in a silo. Almost every problem has several facets and vectors to it. To reflect this changing reality, 3 years ago we took a view that to stay contemporary, BITS needed to look beyond its traditional domains of engineering and science. Research showed up that management, law, and design are amongst the most wanted streams of education. Driven by this conviction, we have invested significant effort into establishing schools in each of these domains. This marks a new chapter in our journey towards redefining education for a far more interconnected world. It also exemplifies the kind of education reform advocated by the path-breaking National Education Policy, the NEP, which I believe is a transformational policy, championed by a Prime Minister that will catapult India to become a global knowledge hub. I see this campus as a visible marker of India's growing intellectual heft. Spread over 60 acres, this campus will house our B School, BITSoM, our law school, BITSLAW, and our upcoming design school, BITSDES. With an investment of about 1,500 crores, this is a future-ready campus that is designed to accommodate 5,000 students at peak capacity. After all, iconic institutions deserve equally iconic architectural spaces. I believe that this campus is comparable to the very best globally. A fortnight ago, I was at another global institution with an iconic campus, which is Harvard Business School. And while at Harvard, I was struck by the optimism and pride about India. As our Prime Minister says for India, yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. I'm constantly amazed, as are all of us, at how our Prime Minister has captured global imagination and galvanized institutions and individuals alike to contribute to our nation's Amrit Kal. And therefore, it is indeed an honor and a privilege that we have with us a leader who is instrumental in translating into outcomes our Honorable Prime Minister's grand vision for a Viksit Bharat. She is known to break records as India's first full-time defense minister and then finance minister. She looks as comfortable at undertaking a sortie in a fighter jet as she does in navigating the complex terrains of the economy. Under her stewardship, the Indian economy has transformed to become the fastest growing large economy in the world. And we are now poised to become the third largest economy in the world by 2030. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to meet with her on several occasions. I've always been struck by her ability to grasp complex issues quickly. And after every meeting with her, I come back with complete clarity on her points of view. Her steely determination to drive policy reforms and her unwavering resolve to uphold fiscal prudence have indeed strengthened India's economic foundations. She is a finance minister who says it as she sees it. Her proficiency in economics and financial planning is perhaps matched only by her proficiency in languages. And we saw that a few days ago when the Prime Minister asked her to speak in Tamil and in Telugu impromptu. And she did that with great elan. She has flown into Bombay. She has flown into Bombay especially for this occasion, and in a testament to her simplicity and humility, she took a train from Ghatkopar to Kalyan to join us. In fact, her journey from humble beginnings to the top echelons of power, fueled by hard work and honesty, serves as an inspiration for all of us. I cannot thank you enough, Nirmala ji, for being here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chief guest and India's Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman.
Are we privileged or are we privileged? It is now time to invite our Honorable Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, to address us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Finance Minister.
Good evening and namaskar. It's such an honor to be here to inaugurate the 5th campus of the BITS group of institutions. I congratulate Kumar Mangalam on having done his best to get this campus up and running. So, to the dignitaries on the dais, dignitaries before me, students, faculty, and the Member of Parliament, Minister of State, who's also joining us today, under whose area this institution comes. It's indeed an honor, I repeat, to be here marking the opening of the 5th campus, a campus which is going to specialize in management, in law, and also in design. You've had a tradition of excellence in education. BITS Pilani has always been a center which very many young people in India always aspire to be in. The wall which was showcased before me and is also there for all of us to see actually highlights why BITS is so special. You can have institutions and institutions where students can enroll, study, pass out, and also manage to excel in their fields. But to make available a very complex set of courses, but make it also market relevant. Give them the abilities and skills which are so required so that they can be readily recruited and be of value to the institutions to which they get recruited is something which is seen as a USP for BITS Pilani, and I agree that that is the reason why the way in which this institution has grown from strength to strength, and also much before the popular needs of the world came, students were aspiring and preparing to get into Pilani. I also understand that this is the first complete campus where hybrid learning is also possible. Today, with the national education policy, digitization, and also because of the way in which that can easily spread knowledge and also help in sharing thoughts, teaching learning methods, it's a good augury that this center, this set of institutions within this campus are going to be digitally enabled. About the alumni, a lot was said. I was quite impressed at the board which showed eminent leaders today who are all currently top of their fields as alumni, and the newer area of startups also getting a huge contribution from the alumni of BITS. So today, a growing India draws from its youth, the skilled youth who contribute to this growth. Therefore, an institution which started so early and which has grown from being just a pathshala to a wonderful institution where people long to study and whose 5th campus is here, with one campus outside which is in Dubai. I was impressed to look at the number of CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies who are all BITSians, 7,400 CEOs, all of whom who have come out of here. 3,300 of them all into academics, including as vice chancellors, directors, and heads of departments of various universities globally, and 600 professionals serving in civil services and Indian defense services. I wouldn't have believed this number. I wouldn't have believed people moving out of BITS would go into civil services, but I have one in my office, so I really can't pretend saying it. And I understand now, Kumar Mangalam representing him and speaking about him said, he's my mole in your office. So I don't know whether I have to be careful or whether I can be extremely happy that a BITSian has gotten into civil service, so many of them, 600 of them, and so on. So the impact of a well-rounded education is such that different services, different domains benefit from their presence. And today, India's growing startup industry has actually very much benefited from the BITSian youngsters. And it was very immensely satisfying to know that 125 crores have been given as scholarships, not by the government, by in-house scholarships which have been done by the promoters. Most often, I don't want to sound cynical, most often we are lectured by the Western thought leaders that India should have a culture of charity. I thoroughly disagree with them with an example of an institution which I'm standing here, which promotes good education, funds the needy students, and sets good examples of various other charitable work which they have done over the generations, not just one generation, whether it is building of charity, charitable institutions, temples, cultural centers, planetariums, and of course universities and colleges, and giving needy, very proficient students scholarships. So I think the model that India follows through such charitable institutions as the Birlas have done stand out as an example of silently doing it without much ado about it. About the startups who have benefited from their education here, much has been said, but I was very impressed to know that 6,400 alumni have been founders or co-founders of several startups, and 13 unicorns have emerged from them and 2 decacorns. It's just not a believable record otherwise, but that is the speed with which you find many of the entrepreneurs trained here coming out and successfully standing out in the new era where businesses and entrepreneurships are receiving all the support from favorable policy and also favorable economy. So I'm very impressed with that number, and that 170 startups have been incubated in BITS campuses, which is a big thing. I know between the Department of Industry and the Finance, and also a brief stint in Defense, how much effort it takes to set up an incubator, find the right kind of mentors who can handhold these startups. By itself is a big effort, and if you've done that for 170 startups, again, you played the very effective role of being a catalyst for startups and achieving together a valuation of $22 million, not a small amount at all. And therefore, that role of BITS Pilani is something which is so relevant for today, where entrepreneurship, small, medium-sized entrepreneurship, are so much in need of incubation, hand-holding, and also finding the right PE partners. I was also happy to see the mention, which I'm aware of, that among the first set of institutions which got the Institutions of Eminence accreditation from the government, BITS Pilani is one of them. So the first set of 6 institutions which became institutions of eminence, particularly for the STEM, I was glad to see BITS Pilani. More impressive, I would say, is the number of publications, research documentations, and books which are getting done here. 17,800 publications from one institution, 2.18 lakh citations. These are not, of course, in an era of artificial intelligence where people are churning out research papers which are written by the generative AI, to have publications and citations which have been during the decades is something which genuinely shows the level of scholarship and rigor with which research is undertaken here. 100 patents, a minimum of 100 patents are filed each year. In a year, you get 100 patents out of BITS Pilani. So the unique research initiatives are all also equally impressive. There is a Center for Research Excellence in Semiconductor Technologies. Government is in a big way investing in semiconductors, manufacturing, designing, and also packaging. So today there are at least 3 or 4 states, and probably a 5th one which is going to come in the next few weeks. Semiconductors investments are greatly supported by the government, and I find that there is a separate department which is taking care of semiconductor technology related research here, and a new school of interdisciplinary research and entrepreneurship. Interdisciplinary was explained to me by the Vice Chancellor even as he was showing it here. It's not related subject. It could be a completely different area of specialization which you permit in this institution, and therefore the person who comes out truly multidisciplinary and not just studying related studies and coming out as multidisciplinary. So that kind of stretching the curriculum to be able to give the maximum to a student who's got that talent in him, the skill in him, and also the aptitude in him for him to study diverse subjects, but yet draw a common line under it. And that is what gives you the creativity to come up with innovations. That's encouraged in BITS, and therefore I'm very impressed by the kind of mix and match you've done in your curriculum. Innovate from India, innovate for India is the principle with which our government has worked. So innovation gets all the support, and we have also, in my latest budget, the vote on account budget, I had announced that there will be a corpus of 1 lakh crore given for the corpus for a special purpose vehicle which will be created by the government, which will be funding innovations and research and development activities. So even in the private sector. So this money would be the corpus from where the monies would be given through the special purpose vehicle where the government shall not interfere, but for research activity which is being undertaken even in the private sector domain, so that eventually fund constraints don't stop good research. The idea was to support and give for India's own researchers and innovators to do the research here and get the patent or copyright or trademarks for products that you would eventually commercialize, and so the institutions benefit and also Indian economy benefits out of it. So I was also impressed that there is a generative AI capability now available, and that is changing the contours of creativity and innovation, and it is evolved from text to text, text to image, and now it is moving on to text to video capabilities with Open AI Sora video AI application. And that's being launched. It was launched last week, and using Sora, users can generate videos through text messages and text prompts, and it produces realistic, high-quality videos. So there's just a rapidly changing contour in the AI sphere, and with the center in BITS Pilani, I'm sure the commercial applications will be very soon available for all to take it up in some affordable fashion. And this is exactly the kind of thing which we want from the government to support and move forward with. I understand the management school is also a big thing here, which is going to start here. Ultimately, we'll have totally in this campus 5,000 students. There are just a few highlights of the governance and also management of the economy that I would like to draw your attention to. And as young students and in a fast-growing India, fast-growing economy, I would put it before you as a proposition for the fresh recruits, for the fresh students who are entering here, to look at those 5 strong principles of governance and management of the economy. for you to look at for a case study as to how India has come out of COVID, not only come out of COVID, but face the two challenging wars which are simultaneously going on, and equally with all the Red Sea related, piracy related uncertainties which are happening in the high seas, how our supply chains are affected. So if I can suggest to your students, your faculty, that it should be a very interesting case study, which I love to see the outcome of your study in its various different dimensions, how a minimum government maximum governance model, which we have taken up from 2014, has actually enabled us to be very receptive to public suggestions and be responsive in changing administration and its requirements towards meeting the expectations of the people. Transparency has been the biggest asset, I would think, in this government. And to be completely, clearly out of corruption is because we have adopted technology. And using technology, every transaction is on board for you to see any time, real time. And that is one of the reasons why we were able to scale up the digital public infrastructure. And today, India's DPI, the India stack, is an envy of the world. So if I'm talking of maximum governance and minimum government, it is a point, it is one of the pillars on which this government's administration is known for. I would like you all to definitely take it as one of those things on which you can always look at how management principles work in consonance in this governance. And minimizing regulatory footprint is one of them. Suppose I go over to the second point on this study, which I would love you to undertake. It is systems thinking. I'm sure in management language you talk about systems thinking, where the government as a whole is treated as an organization, as one organization. And the entire organization thinks together, focuses on the relationship between the parts, departments, agencies which are under the government, and as a result is able to produce the outcome in a transparent fashion and without working in silos. So that is the second pillar I would put for your consideration in the way in which governance and handling of the economy has happened. It improves efficiencies, emphasizes on interdepartmental coordination, interministerial collaboration, and no ball is thrown at somebody else's court and we don't lift our hands saying, that's it, I can't do anything more on it. We ensure that all departments are brought together. So streamlining service delivery happens in such a methodology, and that is why common objectives are served even in quicker time span. Complex challenges like COVID have been addressed. We have also delivered holistic solutions to citizens. What are the holistic solutions? Examples I will put before you so that the study on the second pillar will be useful. I'm not talking off the cuff. I have concrete examples to put before you. COVID vaccines developed in India, manufactured in India, applied in India, delivered to citizens in India, and more than 200 billion doses being delivered within the given time. So that is one whole of the government approach, systems thinking working together. Digital public infrastructure, scaling it up and using it for transparency and making sure that becomes a passport for the vaccination completed or half completed. You could just show it rather than seek several certificates in paper. Hosting the G20 all over the country, system as a whole working together with state governments. And a very critical example is 5G, India's own 5G without even one part of it coming from any foreign country which comes under my P3, Press Note 3, which is my border states with which I would be selective about taking solutions. So these are the ways in which systems thinking had worked. The third pillar I would like to put for your consideration is user feedback and grievance redressal. At every level, inputs are taken from citizens who use a particular provision or a scheme, even be it small schemes or even complex schemes. So there are two platforms through which this is addressed. MyGov is something which receives inputs, and on that we work together. And CP Grams, which is the centralized public grievance redressal and monitoring system, which has worked immensely in reducing public grievances. It's given a voice to the citizens. Directly you can give a message, and it is from the Prime Minister's office downwards. Every department concerned immediately takes it up for action. So grievance doesn't wait, grievance doesn't get accumulated, they are addressed as and when we receive them. The fourth one which I draw your attention is the output outcome monitoring framework that we have. Niti Aayog looks at it. So every rupee spent is not just a target, I have to spend so much on this particular cause, but it is, I'm spending to get a particular outcome. It is also a particular output that I want from the ground, so it brings performance-based budgeting, and also it tracks the outcome for every rupee. And I would like to say, we brought in a system. These are the not so glamorous sides of governance. We brought in a system, completely digitized system between the central government and the state governments, where once the money from the state government is available and it's going to come in, the money from the center for that particular component is delivered instantly through a single nodal platform system. So no money of the taxpayer remains parked and unutilized, and therefore you do not know how long it is going to get utilized. Instead, what we do now is both the center and the state, because of the technology coordination, put the money just in time. It doesn't get wasted, nor does it sit and languish. It is just in time utilization of the taxpayers' money. And therefore, I think the kind of steps that we've taken, particularly in the Finance Ministry on this particular point, is to ensure taxpayers' money is utilized effectively and the outcome and output from it are monitored. And the last one, of course, this one has a developmental impact on government's efforts. Public accountability for every rupee is established. And just for your comprehension, this output outcome monitoring framework has been prepared for 67 ministries or departments. And it involves 600 of central government schemes and centrally sponsored schemes with 6,000 parameters. So it is technologically possible for us to assess each one of the parameter and make sure that the central schemes and the central sponsored schemes are really monitored for every rupee that is spent on them. If this is about the money and its value, I move to the fifth point, which can be a proposition for people to study, is the Japanese famous word kaizen. I hope I'm pronouncing it right, kaizen, which actually in Japan is a powerful philosophy and management principle. Kaizen is the art of continuous improvement through small but absolutely consistent steps. Whilst Prime Minister Modi would speak about transformational change, equally small and incremental steps in reaching common citizens, the Antyodaya, for the benefit of those who are literally in the last rung of the society, is undertaken in the Kaizen mode. That is talking about the universal village electrification, total toilet coverage, widespread banking access, healthcare for all, a relentless work to make sure that every citizen who's eligible for a particular scheme gets it and gets it in time. There are outreach exercises. I was in Nepal border even yesterday, making sure citizens there get every facility, every scheme that he is eligible for. Earlier we had gone to some other parts like the northern borders of Sikkim, to make sure the border villages get the facilities, and so on. So, I've given you 5 pillars, but at the broad umbrella covering this is, even as you want opening up of the space sector, even as you want to talk about earth sciences or deep sea, energy related, and also generative AI, all on the high. You're looking at the bottom where citizens don't get excluded, financial inclusion is made sure, their minimum empowerment steps are also taken, and in between is the link that has to be strengthened through better systems and logistics working for this country so that we can reach Vikasit Bharat of 2047. This is a governance model which I think Prime Minister Modi has very clearly guided us all with. It's a very good management point which I would put to the students, that during COVID we could come out of it. During COVID, with the kind of attention given, we could come out of it. And later on, also with the wars and the disruption in the supply chains, we are still the fastest growing economy. This model of governance and this model of handling the Indian economy is worth studying, and I would put it before the management students of this institution to see if you want to look at it in greater depth. Since 2014, without taking much of your time, one new IIT or IIM is opened every year. Every week, one new university is built in India. Every third day, one Atal Tinkering Lab is opened. Every second day, one new college is being constructed. Every day, one new ITI is getting formed. 1.4 crore youth have been skilled under the Skill India mission. So that is the extent to which India's education is getting facilitated. We are ensuring that budgetary allocations are being made. At the same time, Government of India is actively pursuing mutual recognition of academic qualifications framework and trying to sign MOUs with very many countries so that they will be able to take our students having recognized through an MOU. And that kind of a MOU signing has happened in the recent past with France, Australia, United Arab Emirates, and many other countries are under the negotiation process. So I wouldn't want to get into talking about law. You have eminent jurists here, former Supreme Court judge, and also the need for us to have very sound legal education which can match the best in the world, will be able to stand up and meet up the requirements of global arbitrations, some of which are not really finding Indians who can stand up there and face the arbitral courts. We need more well-trained people from law. Similarly, for that area, we have removed 1,500 obsolete laws. Nearly 40,000 unnecessary compliances have been removed. Government is working out to make sure the laws that are made in this country are not going to be tools of harassment, but are going to enable justice for the common and poor citizens of this country. And finally, the design school, I wish you all the very best. There's so much, it's a vastly expanding area. Lots of new things are happening, new materials are coming in. Design is not just for building, but it's also for many other walks of life. I think one word of request would be design cannot always be imported. The Indian knowledge systems and Indian designs which suited our climatic conditions, which were sustainable, will have to be also brought back. So with these words, I thank Kumar Mangalam Birlaji for having given me this opportunity, and for the eminent citizens of Mumbai who are here. I wish this 5th campus all the very best, and it is continuing with the tradition of high quality education for the aspiring Indian youth. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Truly a well-deserved standing ovation. Thank you, Honorable Finance Minister, for those inspiring pearls of wisdom and for acknowledging and encouraging us at BITS. To mark this occasion in time, truly a pivotal moment in BITS history, I now request Srimati Rajshriji Birla to present our Honorable Finance Minister with a memento. I now request the Honorable Finance Minister, the Chancellor Shri Kumar Mangalam Birla and the Birla family to move to the VIP lounge, and all of our esteemed guests and dignitaries to move towards the Center of Excellence or COE Plaza for the inauguration ceremony.